In 1453, the world changed forever. By the 15th century, the Ottoman Empire had swallowed nations whole. But at its heart, like a bone lodged in the throat of a great beast, sat Constantinople, the last jewel of the Roman Empire. Unconquered, unbroken, for 1,000 years. On March 30th, 1432, in the Palace of Edirne, a boy was born to Sultan Mehmed II. He was not the favorite son. He was not the firstborn. He was given a name that would one day make emperors tremble: Mehmed. But the palace did not celebrate his arrival. His mother, Mehmed II, was a concubine, not royalty. His older brother, Alaeddin, was the chosen heir. And so, the young prince was sent away, banished to Amasya, a forgotten child in a forgotten corner of the empire. They sent him tutors, not to nurture, but to break him. 12 scholars came and failed. The boy was wild, stubborn, brilliant, and furious at the world. He bit one tutor, threw ink at another. They called him uncontrollable. But Guarani gave him something far more dangerous than discipline. He gave him books, history, strategy, and one story consumed the boy's mind above all others: the city of Constantinople. The impregnable fortress. 7 sieges it had survived. No army on earth had ever broken its walls. In 1443, fate intervened with a blade. His older brother Alaeddin was found dead, strangled. Some whispered it was palace politics. Others whispered darker names. But the result was undeniable. His father, weary of war and grief, did the unthinkable. He abdicated. He handed the entire Ottoman Empire to a 12-year-old boy. The court erupted. Viziers plotted. Generals laughed behind closed doors. Who was this child to command the greatest war machine on earth? The Grand Vizier, Halil Pasha, was the real power behind the throne, and he wanted everyone to know it. He dismissed the boy's orders, overruled his commands, humiliated him in front of generals. When a Crusader army marched on the empire, the viziers panicked. They didn't trust the boy to lead. They summoned his father back from retirement, and Murad came riding through those gates like a god of war. Mehmed watched in silence as his throne was taken back. He was 15, and he swore, never again. For 3 years, while his father ruled, Mehmed prepared. He studied 6 languages so he could read the histories of every empire that had tried to take Constantinople and failed. He trained in combat until his hands bled, and he studied something no sultan before him had mastered: the science of artillery. On February 3rd, 1451, Murad II closed his eyes for the last time. The hand that had held an empire went still. Mehmed took that hand, felt it grow cold, and when he stood up from that bedside, he was no longer a boy. At 19 years old, Mehmed II took the throne for the 2nd time. This time, no one laughed. No one plotted to replace him, because when they looked into his eyes, they saw something that made their blood run cold. His first act was not diplomacy, not trade, not treaty. He walked into his war council, unrolled a map, and pointed at Constantinople. The room went silent. Every military mind in that chamber knew what he was asking. 23 previous sieges had failed. The walls were 65 feet high, 16 feet thick, and had stood for 1,000 years. Mehmed said 4 words:
"We take the city!"
These were not ordinary walls. They were a fortress system layered, engineered, perfected by centuries of war. They had repelled Arabs, Bulgars, Rus, Crusaders. For 1,000 years, they had never been breached. He was only 22. Too young, some said, too ambitious. But every man in that room knew this was no reckless prince. No one argued, not because they agreed, but because they understood the cost of speaking against him. They did not ask if the walls could be taken. They asked only one thing. He did not plan to climb the walls. He did not plan to starve the city. He planned to destroy them. Mehmed understood something his enemies did not. The age of walls was ending, and the age of gunpowder had begun. By early April of 1453, the horizon itself had changed. Constantinople awoke to an army larger than anything it had faced in centuries. Some said 80,000 men, others said more. Inside the city, there was no panic. There was something worse. Acceptance. Constantine XI knew the truth. There would be no relief army, no miracle. This was the end, unless the walls held. And then, the ground began to tremble. The walls had faced rams, siege towers, catapults. They had never faced this. On April 12th, Mehmed ordered the first shot. The walls did not fall, but for the first time, they cracked. The sound rolled through the city like thunder. Every man, woman, and child felt it. There was no longer day and night, only waiting and impact. Mehmed did not cheer. He did not smile. He watched. By day, the Byzantines repaired. By night, the Ottomans destroyed. It became a brutal rhythm. The siege had begun, and it would not stop until one side broke. The Golden Horn was Constantinople's lifeline. An iron chain sealed it shut. No enemy fleet had ever passed it. Mehmed looked at the chain, and then he looked past it. He did not plan to break the chain. He planned to go around it, across hills, across forests, across land no fleet had ever crossed. On the night of April 21st, the impossible happened. When the sun rose, Constantinople was already lost. The city's last safe harbor was now a battlefield. Mehmed had not just surrounded the city, he had broken its spirit. On the night of May 28th, the city did not sleep. They prayed, not for victory, but for forgiveness. Before dawn, Mehmed gave the order. The earth shook, the sky burned, and the walls finally failed. Constantine XI did not flee. He died as a Roman emperor should, with his city. On May 29, 1453, Constantinople fell. The Middle Ages ended, and a new empire was born. He was 22 years old.